Hey, oh wow, that went live fast. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Dana Ryan from danaryan.tv, and we are here in another live hangout, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Amy from Dreamflight 6000 and also Diana from Being Mommy with Style. And tonight in the hangout, we have our YouTube Mommy Meetup Twitter team with us. We have 4 out of the 5 members with us, and so I would like them all to go through and introduce themselves, what their channel is, and then we are going to be talking about Twitter tonight because we have the Twitter team here with us. But first, let's go ahead and let them all introduce themselves. And Leah, since you're first on my screen on the right, we will start with you. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Leah. My channel names are Raising Bushes, and my newest channel is JA Families Connect. I'm a mom to 3 and married as well. And our first channel, our main channel, Raising Bushes, is pretty much just a lifestyle channel. And our JA Families Connect is a channel that's dedicated to families for juvenile arthritis awareness.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Crystal.
Hey guys, I'm Crystal from Brought to You by Mom, and just generally a little bit of mesh of everything lifestyle channel out at brought-to-you-by-mom.tv, and then also I am a blogger as well, or digital publisher out at brought-to-you-by-mom.com.
Okay, great. Katie, you want to go next? Don't forget to unmute here.
Hi, I'm Katie, and my channel is Mama Speaks Geek, and it's just kind of a geeky / parenting channel. I talk about everything from superheroes to baking, so it's kind of a mishmash of everything.
Okay, I don't think anyone's introduced themselves that way, and I love it. Superheroes to baking. All right, Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie, and I blog at It's Just My Life CA, and it's a lifestyle blog to go with my lifestyle blog.
All right, great. Thank you guys. And thank you all of you for being here and also for being part of the Twitter team. So YouTube Mommy Meetup, we have formed this Twitter team, which means that every single hangout, they are on hand to tweet and do Twitter parties. And that means that they tweet under the hashtag YTMM, and they are obviously not there really to be doing it. I think Crystal's doing it a little bit. You're on Twitter, right? So you can still tweet under hashtag YTMM tonight if you would like. But we wanted to sort of talk about Twitter parties tonight, what that is, and then also how you would go about being a part of one. And then we have questions from the Facebook group that Diane is going to read off, and Amy is, of course, on hand as always with comments. She's going to be looking at that. So if you would like to ask us a question or leave a comment, you can go ahead and do that, and we'll do our best to get to those as well. But first, we're going to talk about the Twitter party. So what is a Twitter party? So who would like to answer that? Amy, do you know the definition of a Twitter party? I'm just going to ask you, even though you're not on the Twitter team. Yeah.
No,
have you ever done one?
No, I have not. I'm the worst person to ask. What are you thinking?
That's why I'm asking you.
I call it
done one.
No, I've never.
Okay. All right. What do you think it is? What do you think how you would do it? Just.
Well, me? What do I think? I think you just tweet with the hashtag whatever.
Yep. Okay.
But I don't really get how it is on your own page. See, I'm not good at Twitter. That's why I don't hardly do Twitter.
That's why I'm asking you, because you always have great questions.
Or do you go to the company's page and do it? Like I have a lot to learn.
Okay. Great. All right. So who wants to say what a Twitter party is? Everybody's like dead quiet.
I was gonna say Anne-Marie's done a lot of them. I mean, I've done a lot of Twitter parties in the past, but she's like the queen of it. So I'm calling you out, Anne-Marie. I'm calling you out.
Anne-Marie, how would you explain to somebody like Amy, who's maybe never done one before?
Okay, what a Twitter party is essentially is it gets the brand name out there, and it's usually hosted by a brand. In this case, with what we do when we have our Twitter chats, it's YTMM. But for instance, today I was in one. I did one from noon till 1, and it was with Shoppers Drug Mart, which is a drugstore here in Canada. And it's Oral Hygiene Month, so that's what the topic of conversation was. So the brand themselves, they have questions that they ask, and as a paid representative, because that's what I was doing there, it was part of the contract that I signed with them for the month, and I retweeted their questions, I answered their questions. I keep the conversation flowing during the Twitter party so that everybody gets their questions answered. I retweet what some people are answering. And it's just keeping the flow of the conversation going constantly on Twitter. And usually I use like something like TweetDeck or another external app besides Twitter to keep up with the conversations. And I mean, it goes in more in depth because last week I was in another one and I was in charge of the giveaway and prizing, and that's a little different too. So it just depends what is involved and what the brand is looking for or the people are looking for out of the Twitter party.
Okay. So I'm confused. So the company asks questions, and you go to that company's Twitter page and you tweet there, right?
No, usually for Twitter parties there is a hashtag. Like today's hashtag for the Twitter party that I was involved in at noon was get the most out of life. So and that's a hashtag that I would follow to get and converse with other people at the Twitter party, not necessarily the Shoppers Drug Mart, but that hashtag itself. Because if you go to the company's Twitter page, you'll only get the questions they're asking and what they're retweeting. Whereas if you are actually following that hashtag, and you can put it in the search engine in Twitter too, and it will tell you all of the latest tweets that have come up, so you can keep the conversation flowing, or you can join in the conversation, answer the questions that they're asking. The key is, especially if there's pricing involved, you have to include the hashtag with your answers, especially when there's pricing involved. That's like number one rule.
You got paid to do this party today?
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm gonna start learning Twitter. I'm gonna do that. I would learn Twitter to get paid. That's awesome.
I have a question, Anne Marie. Does the app you said, the external app you use, external, not external, I don't know what that word was, help you keep track of just that specific hashtag, or how does that work?
Okay, for instance, today I was using TweetDeck, so I was following the stream of, I'm going to just use YouTube Mommy Meetup as an example. So when we have our meetups like today on TweetDeck, I have a column that's dedicated to the hashtag YTMM. So everybody that is conversing with us using that hashtag, I can see what everybody is saying all the time and joining in the conversation there. Now, if I'm doing prizing for something, I also have to keep track of the winners and who is being selected as winners, and usually that's random numbers because for most cases when it's a prizing situation, there is an RSVP, so the people are selected, but at the same time I have to make sure those people that numbers were drawn to select them, that they are actually participating in the chats. So it's kind of a little more complicated when it comes to the pricing and stuff.
Yeah, so basically it's like a big chat box, and it's all linked together by the hashtag.
So do you have to have iPhone to have TweetDeck?
No, actually, they have a desktop app, so you can. I have it on my iPad too, but you can have it on your laptop, on your computer screen, everything. TweetDeck's available in all formats.
Oh, okay.
And I know out on the group too, we have a little bit of like a Twitter file, and it's out in the documents portion of the YouTube Mommy Meetup group, and there's actually a few of the different apps listed that you can use. Like I use TChat, for example, and that basically you just go in, you enter the hashtag, and you're immediately put in like a little chat room, and you can literally see all the tweets going down the line of, hashtag YTMM kind of thing. So we do have that out there. If anybody's listening or anybody watching that has any questions on it, we have that too available.
That would make it way more fun and way more interactive feeling.
I agree,
Yeah.
Amy. Yeah, that's exactly why I love using those kind of things, because then it feels like I can kind of condense and I can get away from all the rest of the news feed and focus solely on that chat that's going on right now. So
what I was thinking, I thought, geez, these parties, it seems like then your followers would get bombarded with this hashtag, but they wouldn't if you're replying to other people and Am I right with that?
They still do in a sense. Like your followers and your newsfeed are still going to see everything that you're tweeting because you are tweeting directly out of your feed. However, a lot of people do, Twitter moves so fast these days. Back in the day when Twitter was a lot slower, it was kind of kosher to say, hey guys, I'm participating in a Twitter party today at 1 o'clock, so there's going to be an influx of tweets from me, just FYI. And I do that still sometimes when I have multiple Twitter parties throughout the day, so I'm not like my followers who do follow me, or if they have like a notification on their phone, it's not every 10 seconds that I'm tweeting. But at the same exact time, like I said, Twitter moves so fast these days that it's kind of mute anymore. So
yeah, for instance, like I have 9,000 followers, or around 9,000 followers, so they would get everything that I was tweeting out today. But I'm also following almost 9,000 people, so the streams move so quickly that unless they're really looking for it, they're not going to see it. General consensus. That's why I group Twitter people into groups so that I can go and follow those groups personally.
When I people aren't really seeing stuff, and if it's moving so fast, do you bother tweeting on your own page for anything? Because no one would really see it.
Well, I have to because I'm under contract, right? And I'm being paid to do that. So I actually have to do that. But yes, I do because I want people to see and I want people to be aware of this brand and what is going on and what, and what they're spreading the news about. But so they do see it.
One time ever. I tweeted something once ever, like I typed something and pressed tweet. I think whatever it is, and no one responded to it. So I thought, well, geez, why bother doing this? So I never did it again, Besides automatic.
The key to Twitter is building the relationships, though. You have to build the relationships on Twitter to get the people interacting back and forth.
Yeah, like YouTube, you gotta interact.
Exactly.
Well, hold that thought. That's one of the questions. So hold that thought. That's one of the questions. But Leah, you were going to say something. What were you going to say earlier?
I was going to say that I actually like that when they're using the hashtag and you can kind of see the feed, because a lot of times it'll pique my interest, and so I end up going to the hashtag and participating in that live chat that I might not have known was taking place had they not been tweeting about it on their page.
Exactly. I've joined a lot of Twitter parties that way. A lot of like bloggers that I follow on my lists and things, and then I see, oh, they're in a Twitter party because I see the hashtag popping up, or they'll sometimes someone will put out the brand will say Q, which is the question, and then someone will answer back answer. What their answer is with the hashtag, and it's like, oh, they're in a Twitter party. So, and I've joined Twitter parties just like that. Exactly.
Can I ask a question? So when you're in the Twitter party and say the brand asks a question, are you supposed to reply to that tweet with your answer, or are you just supposed to do a fresh tweet with the hashtag with the answer? Does that make sense?
You can do both. You can Twitter allows you to reply now, because when you reply, it says you can have their exact question in there and also reply. But the thing is, when you're replying to them, always remember you always have to put the hashtag, or it's not going to go into the conversation of that.
Yeah, because sometimes in the parties, like I see somebody put the question, but then I just tweet instead of like replying to the tweet. Does that, you know what I mean? And that just and it just keeps going in the feed. But then obviously my reply wouldn't be rolled up with their question. So, but sometimes it goes so fast. Is my point? It's like rolling, and it's just like hard to keep up. But I guess if you clicked on the actual tweet to answer it, then it would keep that one up. So okay. So should we move into the questions now from Facebook now, Diana? Are you ready? Are you prepared?
Sure, I'm prepared.
Okay. Go ahead, read the first question.
All right, in the YouTube Mommy Meetup Facebook group. And Rhonda asks, is it okay to mix business and personal tweets? And then she has a couple other questions. Somebody want to focus on that one first?
Yeah, let's do the first one. Okay. Yeah.
Business and personal tweets, everything all in one.
Yeah, Leah, what do you think about that?
I think it's fine personally. I mean, I don't see a problem in it because your business tweets, you're usually using a specific hashtag, or if you're being paid for a brand, then it's usually pretty obvious because you are using that brand's name or giving a shout out to them or talking about a specific thing that they're promoting that month or that week. So it's kind of obvious to me which ones are business, and then your more personal ones, to me it makes the connection. Like you get to know the tweeter on a more personal level and make those connections there so people will follow you. So I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that if you have business, if you're a personal brand, then personal and business sort of are synonymous now. I don't think you separate the two. It's, you are who you are and it's part of business sort of. So I think it's all combined. I know some
Exactly.
people, yeah.
Being a lifestyle blogger, vlogger, whatever you do in social media, exactly, you're a storyteller, and opening up your life is part of that. So, and I think that that's really a big thing. I just went to a conference this last weekend, and that is one thing they were hugely talking about is, don't just be out there sell. Be personable too, because you're building an audience of trust, and they look to you to look at these different things and these brands that you work with and things like that. And if they don't see you on a personal level, they just kind of view you as a sellout. So it's good to be personal too with your audience, just on a level of just trust in general.
Does anybody disagree and think that you should have two separate? Go ahead,
No,
Anne.
I don't think you should have two separate, but you have to remember if it is brand associated and sponsors associated, you have to label your tweets. It's really particular for American companies. We don't have that rule here in Canada, but you guys really have a huge disclosure policy when it comes to American companies and that sort of thing. So you always have to label that was a sponsored tweet.
Oh yes, exactly. Doing the ad or the pound ad or pound PR, or like there's even companies that specifically, or networks now, that I was just taking a class today for a network I'm a part of now, and they actually have an approved FTC hashtag that you have to use in every single sponsor post. So, and it just alerts the FTC. So yeah, that's a big thing. If you're going to do business wise, you got to think about that as well. So that's a good point, Anne Marie. Very good point.
Did you say you're part of the Food Network? What did you say?
No, sorry, a new network. Sorry, I'm trying to talk kind of quick because
Like
I
the
definitely
Food
want to.
Network.
I know. I've worked with the Food Network.
Love the Food
but
Network.
I know Emily Ellen personally, name drop, but at the same time, no. But no, new network. It's an awesome network that I just joined up via social media and stuff. They're pretty cool. So.
Well, if you ever join the Food Network, let me know.
You'll be the first to know. You'll be the first to know, Amy. I'll bring you on. I'll be on Chopped or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that show.
Okay. All right. Next question, Diana.
All right. The next question is from Rhonda also, and she says, what are lists? So how do you use your list, and what are they?
All right. Katie, let's go to you. Do you want to answer this, or is that putting you on the spot? A Twitter list. You want to answer that?
I honestly don't even know.
Okay. All right.
What Twitter list is.
Okay. All right. Well, I know what a list is. We have them. YouTube Mommy Meetup has a list. We actually do have a Mommy Meetup Twitter account, and on the Mommy Meetup Twitter account, we have a list form. So if you go to that, you can click on lists, and it'll show you that we hit all of the YouTube Mommy Meetup members who have chosen to share their Twitter handle are in the list. So you can follow the list, and then you don't have to actually individually follow each person. You can just follow the list, and then you could click on that and see all the tweets from all those people within that list.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'm not even on the list. I bet I'm not even on the list.
You're on the list.
That's so cool.
Oh, thanks.
That is really
Yeah.
cool.
I don't know if you followed the list, but you're
No,
on the list.
I will. I promise I will go follow the list. I can figure it out. I will.
Yep.
I love it. I love lists personally because, like we were talking about earlier, the feed moves so quickly. And I have a huge thing where I not only want to tweet my stuff, I don't want to promote just myself. I want to promote my fellow networks, my fellow inner circles, my fellow YouTubers, things like that. So if I put everybody in a list, and I'm not as good as, I'm kind of preaching to the mirror here, I should be talking to myself, but I'm not as good with lists as I should be, but I'm trying to create them to where I can just go in there, and it's kind of like the hashtag thing. You just click, and like Dana was saying, you see everybody that's in that list. So a lot of times groups, like conferences, will create lists of people who are attending, so you can kind of get an idea who's attending and start following them and retweet their stuff, that kind of thing. And I think it's an awesome way to network within Twitter, and it takes biting the big elephant a little bit easier when you're able to look at a list of condensement instead of this huge news feed that's moving every 5 seconds. So
Yeah, I think that they're remarkable. So I subscribe to a ton of different lists for different groups I'm in, and then we also have a blogging mommy meetup list for those members. But it's so great, like you said, if you attend a conference, and you want to see, all the people that are on a certain list, maybe you want to create a list of all the people you met at the conference that you can just kind of quickly click that list and see what's going on with them and interact with them. So it's really great to kind of, organize your activity on Twitter. And I think that was actually a question a little bit about how to do that. But all right, next question, Diana, go.
All right, and the next question is, should you thank each new follower for following? Last question from Rhonda. So do you thank everyone for following you, or is it just like, go?
I don't, and I feel a little bit strongly about that. But does anybody have one of those like automatic generated?
I hate those.
Okay.
I hate them.
Yeah, so do I. But does anybody? If you have it, it's okay.
No, I frown on that, and I would frown at anybody doing that because I have been known to unsubscribe and unfollow a person that has those because that just tells me they don't pay attention to any of their feeds. And I don't thank everybody either. There's no possible way I could do that and keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that from multiple people that they will unfollow someone if they get one of those generated tweets, but it doesn't mean
know that they were generated. I've had people thank me for following them, and here I thought they actually went out of their way to thank me.
Well,
maybe they did.
I'm gonna say, yeah, they may have. They're pretty obvious, the generated ones, because it'll say like, generated by da da da, and you're like, really?
Well, I don't know.
It'll say like dear,
really
and then it'll have like a blank name. It won't actually have your name in it. I've gotten like 2 or 3 of those where it just says dear blank comma, and then it has their like generated text to it. I'm like, you didn't even take the time to like make sure the name was in there.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you can tell if it's like true, like they really are just sitting there tweeting to you, thank you, or if it's something that's just generated. I don't know. I think you can kind of get a feel for it. But Katie, do you have that on yours? If you do, it's fine. Do you do that on yours?
No,
don't be
I don't.
Scared. Okay.
No, I actually don't do that. And I've noticed that I'm really new to Twitter. I'm on there a lot, but I'm still figuring it all out. And I've noticed that I get a lot of, like, people follow me, sometimes totally obviously spam people, and then unfollow me, and so it's kind of this influx. I don't know if you guys noticed that too, but I wouldn't want to.
I think it's a tactic, isn't it, by a lot of people just to start to follow you and then hope that you'll follow them back, and then they unfollow you? That's what I. Do
yeah.
Do that, right? That's what I think. I always suspect that that's what they're doing.
So I wouldn't want to put, like, any like retweet or acknowledgement out to someone who is just kind of spamming my Twitter feed. So that was kind of my thought on it.
Yep. Yeah. Diana, are you sending one out, a generated one? No. Look at your face.
I don't think so. Unless my Twitter's gone crazy.
Are you doing it? Are you doing it? I'm calling you out.
No, I'm lucky to be on Twitter like twice a week. So.
Okay. All right,
and
you're safe.
It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, if you do it, we're totally not trying to like dog you on it, but it's any Twitter like professional or expert will tell you don't do that, because just like everybody has been saying, it's not personal. So, and that's what social media is. It's social. So let's turn the automated systems off if you can. Scheduling tweets, scheduling Facebook posts, fine, gotcha. I feel you. I can't be on all platforms all day either, but the whole automated of thank yous, yeah, no.
All right.
Yeah, scheduling is a lifesaver, huge lifesaver.
Yeah.
Should we talk about scheduling a second? Is that a question? Is there a question in there about scheduling, Diana?
I didn't even know you could schedule. Or how do you schedule?
The next 2 questions are about activity, like, followers and stuff. So no, let's talk about scheduling, because scheduling is handy.
All right. Who wants to answer her question? Amy's question. How do you schedule? Katie, did you say you do schedule?
Well, no one seems.
Nobody's doing it now, though.
I'm down for it, but I want to
schedule on other platforms, but not Twitter.
I definitely schedule all of my a lot of my Facebook stuff. I haven't done a lot of Twitter scheduling, but I know it's a lifesaver when it comes to social media, because especially with young kids, as most of us have, all of us, obviously watching YouTube Mommy Meetup, you can't always be right there on your computer, even though your cell phone is so convenient. Things come up. So that didn't answer the schedule. Yeah.
Twitter can't, the difference between Facebook and Twitter, though, is Twitter, within the app itself, you can't schedule. You need another affiliate app like TweetDeck or something else, or Hootsuite or something to schedule your tweets out.
Oh, okay.
And unlike Facebook, people can respond to your posts on Facebook, and they don't expect you to give them an answer immediately. Twitter is the opposite. They're looking for an answer, and they want it quick. They don't want to wait for the answer. That's a huge difference between the two platforms.
And then I know I've heard people say that you can actually exclude from your Twitter feed any tweets that were a scheduled tweet. So I've heard that said, that you can exclude that somehow from your feed, where you don't see anything that's coming in from buffer or anything that's, you're shaking your head. No, Anne-Marie. You can't do that. You're on mute.
No, you can't do that. All the tweets will come through no matter where they've come from. It doesn't matter. But no, Twitter kind of frowns on it. They don't like that you do that, but I think they know it's literally impossible not to do that, especially with the way Twitter is with their Twitter parties and stuff like that. You have to schedule all those questions or you're going to go crazy.
Mm.
Exactly, and I use scheduling too. I use Buffer, and I also use Post Planner. And Post Planner I'm very new to. It is a subscription service, but I'm loving it because it has it shows you what top posts were for the day, what top tweets were for the day. They give you ideas for questions to ask your audience and what's hot and what's not. So that's always super helpful. And I basically have it too to where if I do get someone retweeting me or I get somebody tweeting me back, I just have it pop up on my phone so I can, like Anne-Marie said, you want to engage quickly with Twitter. So I use that so I can engage fast. But I do schedule out most of my tweets during the day, especially my promotional tweets and things like that. I also have it hooked up on my blog that it'll go back into my archives of my blog posts and tweet those periodically throughout the day to kind of keep my posts fresh from the past and things like that. And I'll actually use the hashtags with the keywords. It's a really cool plugin that WordPress offers. But I'll do things like that. But I definitely could never stay on Twitter all day long. Even my mother's like, how do you do it? I'm like, oh, I don't. I'm never on Twitter.
Yes, you do, Crystal. You're doing it, girl.
Every day. You should see me. I have 5 computers around me. It's awesome. No, I'm just kidding.
Leah, do you schedule any? Have you done that before?
I don't schedule on Twitter, no.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any of the extra programs downloaded because, I've had Twitter for a while, but I've only been really active, I would say, since maybe end of December, January.
Mm-hmm.
And just the way that I'm using it, I don't really need to schedule in advance right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. All right, Diana, what's our next question?
And I have a question if we have time at the end.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Diana.
Oh, at the end. Okay, gotcha. So the next 2 questions are about your followers and kind of gaining a following. So Cindy asked, how do you get an active following? It seems that a lot of people that follow her only follow them for their businesses and they're not legit commenters who will interact with her. So how do you get, I guess, kind of like how other people were saying, spammers and that sort of thing, or if it's just a business interaction, how do you get more of an interaction on Twitter?
This was the question I was thinking of earlier about your community, like Anne-Marie was talking about fostering your community on Twitter. But yeah, how do you get more engagement, right, is I guess what she's asking, correct? Right.
Correct.
I think the best advice for that is if she's not getting engagement, is she engaging with the ones that she's following?
Mm-hmm.
Because usually if you're joining in the conversation goes back and forth, and it goes quite quickly. So I would say engage in that and engage in, there's so many different things on Twitter too that they have blog chats too. They have so many different things for different communities that are out there that just look at the hashtags and look at the people you're following and what hashtag they're using, and especially if it's coming up frequently, it usually means that they're involved in a chat of some sort. And if that's of interest to you, which usually it is if you're following them back, and join in, and that's how you can start building relationships, true relationships with the people, and not just, hey, and don't always keep putting stuff out. Twitter's a give and take, so if you're not responding and you just keep pushing out, I stop watching your feed. I'm sorry, but I do. That's honestly, I do. I like to see that there's interaction going on, and get rid of your egg right away, because
Your egg. Oh, your
The
picture.
profile, yeah.
Yes. Veto the egg right away.
Don't be an egghead. That's like the number one thing. Don't be an egghead. But no, I agree with Anne-Marie big time and I use, my biggest thing too is like use the hashtags. Utilize, I think Twitter is like the number one place to utilize hashtags. I know a lot of places and platforms are going away from them because it's viewed as spammy, but I think Twitter, it's like an extra way to reach out, and it's that kind of thing. And I mean, Twitter is kind of one of those things where I have started to view it a little more business-wise. I do communicate more with businesses on Twitter than I do anywhere else. I don't know why. I think it's just that's where it's at, I guess. And yeah, and it's just about reaching out. Be involved with Twitter parties, and also, you know, go into those Twitter link-ups that you find with different blog posts and things like that, and do the whole, you know, follow somebody and tweet them and get to know them and have lists. I mean, everything we're talking about tonight is really going to help you, I think, build your community in Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I think that the moms, I always go back to this, you know, I do think that like certain communities are on Twitter and others aren't. And so I find myself, like you were just saying, Crystal, like I maybe communicate more with like business on Twitter, because moms, like sometimes I'll follow them, like say, you know, Amy, like for you, for example, you're just not on Twitter like interacting a lot, right? So it's like it's hard for me to find other moms, other YouTube moms that are actually, you know, talking on Twitter, not just like pushing out their YouTube links. And so I have trouble with that, is actually trying to find them where they would be interested in engaging in a back and forth kind of chat on Twitter. It's kind of rare in the mom world so far. Like I feel like we're not quite there yet on Twitter. Whereas
we're not quite there yet.
we're not quite. Whereas the younger, you know, if your community is, you know, teenagers, then a lot of times then they're really hot on Twitter. There's a lot more activity there. But the YouTube moms are mostly on, or moms in general, are mostly on Facebook still. You know, it's still like I feel like I just haven't seen like the shift yet over to Twitter, and that's sort of been my perception.
Well, I'm going to say something because I am the oldest one here out of all of you, and I know I am by many years. And Twitter has always been my go-to platform. I prefer it over any other social media platform. And I think what it is, and it's huge in the blogging community. Twitter has been for so long. And I guess maybe because I've been blogging for 15 years, that's probably why it's my go-to platform. But what I find is when I'm watching a YouTube video and I really liked it, I always look at their about to see if they have a Twitter handle listed, and I actually tweet them. I don't just have the tweet come up saying I like this video on Twitter. I actually tweet them about it specifically, and I find the interaction really good. Like even the bigger, I guess, I hate putting people in categories, so even I guess the bigger YouTubers, as people would say, I've had many conversations with a lot of them back and forth on Twitter like crazy, and you know, I think it's people just have to get more used to using it. And I think maybe the moms are just busy, and maybe because my kids are older. I don't know.
Well, that's what I started to say. I just started to say, do you guys ever have the problem, like, you just get distracted with the little ones, you know? Because, like, I was supposed to be at a Twitter party today at, like, 3 o'clock Eastern, so it's a different time, my time. You know, and I'm, like, tweeting, like, 20 minutes beforehand, but then I have preschoolers, so 20 minutes later, I'm distracted off doing something with them. I miss the whole party because by the time I get back around my phone or a computer, it's done. So I think that if you have little ones, like you get so easily distracted with them. I don't know.
I have to agree.
Well, the thing I like about parties, though, is because of the hashtag, a lot of times I can go back and still answer the question, and it's still going to be seen when someone goes back and views it. Versus if it's just my own personal Twitter that's not, you know, hashtag, then they're probably not going to see that in their feed later on because they're not going to be searching for that specifically.
And Leah has a really good point with that, because I've done that a lot of times too. I know a lot of people like to keep up with the Twitter parties because of the prizes and everything else, but it is a good idea to go back in and look at the hashtags, because I've actually found it's kind of funny, and Anne-Marie kind of mentioned it too. Twitter is big with blogging on that side of things, and I've actually connected with a lot of good bloggers that way through Twitter. A majority of my blogging inner circle, I would say, is through finding them on Twitter and then matching them with their blog and then matching them with their Facebook and YouTube later on. It's like, oh, gotcha, I know who you are. We talk all the time on Twitter parties, you know. So yeah, going back in and looking at those hashtags, and I've started just random conversations and gotten to know people through Twitter that way. So
But aren't they like all like I think this was part of the question, maybe this was another question I read, Diana, but those bloggers are like they're business people, right? Like that's really
and that's
like, but they're not like your audience, right? Like they're not like just the moms that might be watching your channel who aren't bloggers, who aren't YouTubers,
Right.
Diana, was that a separate question? But somebody asked that, like how you could
That
get
was kind
like
of the first
actual
one. Like she's saying she has businesses that interact with her, but how do you get like your fans or your followers or she said I haven't got any legit fans who interact with my tweets. So that's what she was saying was like, all the only people that will talk to me is businesses.
Right, and that's kind of how I feel. Like the bloggers, they might interact, but it's like it's hard to get like other real, like just not that we're not real moms, but you know what I mean? Like other just like fans, if you want to call them that, but
your viewers or whatever.
But that's where you kind of have to, I think, view social media as a whole, because it's one of those things where I use Twitter as a lot of my place to interact with my fellow bloggers and brands and things like that. And when I say business, I look at like fellow bloggers as business. I know that's horrible, but they're your inner circle. They're who you can talk to about the craziness that goes on in the industry. But I really think that that's where you have to look at social media as a whole. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram. And if somebody finds you on Twitter, a viewer or a reader or whatever, and they see your tweet, they might be more apt to go to your blog post or to your YouTube channel, and then they're going to start commenting on your YouTube channel or commenting on your blog, and they've found you in a different place. So don't just view Twitter as like any platform. That's like my biggest thing when it comes to social media, just even outside of Twitter. Do not view one social media platform as the it. Like, oh, I'm not getting any interaction on Twitter, or I'm not getting any interaction on Instagram. You might be. It might just be on a different platform. So they might have found you through there.
Yeah, that's a good point. It might just be driving people to comment somewhere else. That's a good point.
Exactly.
Yeah. We have one last question from Sanella. Do you want me to go ahead and toss it up, Dana?
Yep, go for it.
All right. So Sanella asked, how active are you on Twitter? I thought that this would be a good one to kind of round everything out here. She says, I get on once a day to reply, favorite, retweet, should I bump up my activity? So how often are you on Twitter? And I guess, what are you doing when you're there?
Well, scheduling-wise or for real? No, I'm just kidding.
For real.
For real.
For real.
I was going to say, scheduling-wise, I'm on every hour, But no, for real, though, for me personally, I don't know about everybody else, but I really try to, and this is just recent, where I've had to kind of scale back a little bit, because I've come to the realization if I'm on every single platform and every single, like, if I'm editing and filming and then on Twitter and then on Facebook and then on Instagram and doing everything once all day, I'm on the computer all day long. So it's kind of one of those things where I've had to result to where, like, in the evenings, that might be my time to kind of get on Twitter or Instagram and kind of reply back and on those serious notes or look through things. So, and I try to have social media focused days. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, my upload days on YouTube, and I'm trying to kind of do my blog posts on Monday and Wednesday, and I'm trying to leave Tuesdays and Thursdays open to be more centered into Twitter and Facebook, and specifically like Twitter, and using that time to get involved with Twitter parties and reply back and look at my lists and tweet out other people's stuff and schedule other people's stuff on my schedule, so that way I'm supporting them still, even if I might be scheduling their stuff for Wednesday, but I'm focusing on Tuesday kind of thing. So I try to do it by days personally.
Okay, good. Leah, how much are you on every day?
I'm on maybe a couple of times a day, but it's on my phone, so it's very quick. And that's the thing I like about Twitter, is it's such short, little bites of information that you can scroll through and read so quickly. Versus like Facebook. I mean, I love Facebook, but sometimes you're reading, a whole paragraph from, several people, and within a few people's posts, I'm out of time because my toddler needs something or I need to move on to something else. Twitter, I can, scroll through very quickly through 50 people's tweets in no time, and I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say maybe 3 times a day. And also, one thing is, I think you come to find out, when your feed is the most active. So like with mine, most of the time it's midday when there are Twitter parties going on, and then usually late evening, like when all the kids are in bed, I'll see some of the moms and stuff jump back on Twitter, and then it's a little bit more active. So those are the 2 times a day that I try to like check those, versus some of the other platforms are busier other times a day.
Yeah. How about you, Katie? How often do you go on?
I go on usually early morning and then after the kids are in bed, and I'll check kind of in the mid-afternoon, but yeah, it's like she said, really busy in the afternoon, so sometimes it can be hard to do anything other than just hit retweet or like. So I try to focus on early morning and after the kids are in bed. It's best time for me.
Okay. Diana?
I don't know, maybe I'm on more than I realize, but I will check in from my phone occasionally, and that's usually I'll just retweet or I'm just like scrolling through real quick, but I'm not like actually doing anything other than retweeting. I'm not, you know, Twitter pottering or anything. I'd say probably like once or twice a week I actually like open it up on my computer and I'm actually focused on that. But Instagram's that's my jam is Instagram, but Twitter
We'll
a
have
couple
to do
times a
a
week.
separate Instagram hangout.
Yes, please.
Well, I'm all about Instagram too.
I know.
Yay.
Everybody
I
loves
love
Instagram.
Instagram. Twitter are my favorite.
All right. Well, this isn't an Instagram hangout. So
Okay. Yeah,
nobody get
sorry.
crazy. All right. Anne-Marie, how long are you on Twitter? Every day.
Do I really have to admit it?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a 10-step program for me? Sign me up. I am on it. I usually go on it about 5 o'clock in the morning when I get up. And as I'm editing videos, as it's exporting and importing, I'm on Twitter more than I'm on anything else. Retweeting. It depends what list. I have everything. I have 19 or 20 different lists that I've categorized people into. So for my hometown here that I live, my community, I always check that in the mornings and retweet what's happening around here. So it just depends. I homeschool, so during the day, if she doesn't need my attention in the mornings while she's doing math or something, I'll pop on Twitter before I'll pop on any other social media. So it depends. I don't even want to admit it. I don't want to admit it.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Amy? I'm sorry. What were you saying, Amy?
Oh, I said math is a good time because I said I would if. Never mind.
She'd scroll through Twitter too during math because it's math.
Yeah. Thanks.
I feel you, Amy. I'm right. No, yeah.
All right, Amy. I just got to know how much are you on Twitter every day?
I go on my phone on Twitter every other Wednesday after our YouTube Mommy Meetup hangouts for just a little bit.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Every other week. I'm gonna try to get better though.
Okay. I don't know. I guess I check in maybe once a day, maybe 10 minutes a day is what I'm on Twitter. That's what I would say. And just like you, Amy, I always try to go in after our Wednesday hangouts to, go in and tweet everybody who was in the party. So, but yeah, Amy, what was your question that you wanted to ask before we wrap it up? Do you remember?
I'm a YouTuber, and so I've never had a sponsored video or anything. No company's ever come to me to do any of that. But I take a product on my own, I buy it, and every Monday I review it. Now, if I go on Twitter and I want that company to see my video, I used to do it. I used to do it after each video I've done, and I've just had no luck with it getting seen. So I was wondering, is it appropriate? Can you message the company and say, "Hey, I reviewed your product," or is that not appropriate? Because my tweets aren't getting seen, or do I do my tweet multiple times? You know what I mean?
Do you use their
Are you
handle?
tagging them in the tweet?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Like, are you saying, "Hey guys, I tried this product today from
Yeah.
Like I did some Horizon mac and cheese. Okay, good. There you go. Yeah, that's a good way.
I've only had one company ever, say anything about it. But then so I don't know.
I don't think there's anything. Oh, sorry, Dana. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say just maybe retweet some of them, the ones that you think are good. Maybe redo it again, like later on, like a couple weeks later, and try again.
Yes, I've only done it. I only do it once, and then that's it. I never.
Because it's not like you don't have to be like right at their face, like, hey, check this out, craft. Yeah. You could be more like, oh, in this video that I did a couple weeks ago, we loved this craft macaroni and cheese. You know what I mean? But then it's like you're sort of tagging them in it in your sentence, but it's not directly like, hey, craft, you better check this out.
Right.
Well, I was going to say too, it's okay to message them in a sense if you wanted to, and it's how you approach it. I mean, you can definitely say, hey Kraft, you know, I did this video this last week. We really enjoyed your mac and cheese, and pitch them and say, I have another idea for another video, and I would love to work with you on it. If you want to take a look at this last video I did with your product, I want to make this new recipe with your new such and such. Are you interested in working together? And you never know. They could look at your video, go, she's got some pretty good quality stuff. We like her ideas. We like how she promoted us. We're going to work with her. And next thing you know, they email you back and say, yeah, here's a month worth of mac and cheese.
The Twitter messaging.
No, you can only message them if they follow you.
Exactly. So I would go outside of it, yeah, and I would
like Facebook,
or Facebook or email. Like go to their actual website and look down for like their PR or their contacts, and just email them. And I mean, you can tweet if you want to, but companies, unless you're like you're friends with them and you can do like the direct message like Anne-Marie said, it's kind of mute on Twitter because I'm sure they're getting hit up left and right. But yeah, I would recommend doing that.
Thank you. Those are really good. That's really good advice. Thank you.
I've had Target reply to me on Twitter before. That's probably because I tweet Target a lot though. So.
I was going to say, be relentless, Amy. You got to be relentless.
Well, do Instagram too. I mean, you know, like, and
Instagram.
I know we're going backward. We're out of Twitter again, I know, but companies love Instagram right now. Yes, so use different platforms too to get their attention.
And Instagram is less saturated right now.
But with Instagram, what do you do? Do you go at the company or do you hashtag the company?
Both.
Oh gosh.
And then you send that Instagram photo to Twitter and tweet them on Twitter.
Right,
exactly.
You're talking, Leah.
You guys.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm going to get a company sponsor someday. I'm going to.
Sponsor today.
Right now, I feel like everybody's getting all. That's just not Twitter, so that's.
You don't need it, Amy. You don't need it.
Like, why aren't companies wanting to talk to me?
Oh, geez, yeah. Sponsorships. That's another.
That's a whole nother hangout.
Love them and hate them. All right. Okay, so that I think is going to wrap it up. Thank you guys immensely. I just want, before we go through and say that, you guys all say your channels again and everything, it really does mean a lot that you guys tweet, under hashtag YTMM every, hangout. You're part of the Twitter, team. That means so much. You guys have been really awesome. So thank you for taking time out, Wednesday nights.
Someday we'll pay you.
Yes, that's the goal. That's the hope. I would love to do that. So
and you'll
thank
pay
you guys.
us.
Right. So it means a lot, and I really appreciate that you guys do that. So I hope you know that. And
wouldn't that be fun to have giveaways and all that?
Yeah, I know. It would be really. That's, I guess, yeah. Amy, you got to keep tweeting, okay? Get us some products for giveaways.
Yeah, that's actually
those sponsors.
Side note, when did we do a giveaway? We did one. When was it? An anniversary?
That was fun.
Yes, that's very interesting. You should say that, Diana, because that's coming up again soon. We're going to have another anniversary.
We should totally do that.
Has it been another year already? Holy moly.
Almost. Yep. Yeah, I know. It's coming up. Yeah, this summer. So we'll be having another, fun party hangout with giveaway items. That'll be really cool.
Very fun.
Yeah. All right. So let's go, Leah. You go first. Tell everybody again where they can go to find you on Twitter and your YouTube channel.
Everything is the same across social media, so it's Raising Bushes, and then my new YouTube channel, which is really specific just for one health issue, is JA Families Connect, and that's the same thing on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere.
Perfect. All right, said like a pro. All right, Crystal, your turn. Where can everybody go to find you?
All right, so to find me out on Twitter, it's a little funky, but I'm just brought to the number 2, the letter U, by Mom, and that's across all platforms as well. And then out on YouTube, you can find me out at brought-to-you-by-mom.tv. You can also find out more about me out at brought-to-you-by-mom.com.
All righty. Okay, Katie, where can everybody go to find you?
You can find me at Mama Speaks Geek all across the board, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, Diana, go ahead, throw it in there again. Where can everybody go to find you?
Everyone can find me at Being Mommy with Style, unless you're on Twitter, and then you have to look for me at Being Mommy Style, because with was too long.
There you go. All right, Anne-Marie.
Okay, I'm Emery, and you can find me at itsjustmylife.ca or .com and at itsjustmylife.ca across every social media platform known to man and YouTube.
Perfect. All right, Amy.
I'm Dreamflight 6000 on everywhere.
Okay. On Twitter too? You got the 6,000
yeah,
on Twitter? All
I
righty.
do.
You got that in there. Okay, and I am Dana Ryan, and you can find me at danaryan.tv, and you can also listen to me at the Diaper Dirt podcast. And everybody's links will be in the description box. Also, you can go to youtubemommemeetup.com/Twitter, and you will see the Twitter team listed there. Also, maybe how you can become a part of the Twitter team if you're interested. And if you are listening to us via the podcast, you can just tap your screen if you're on the iTunes app, and then all the links will show up there. And thank you guys so much again for being here tonight. We do these hangouts every other week, and the next hangout will be a fun hangout, we like to call it, a parenting type topic. So that'll be coming up in 2 weeks, and we will talk to you guys then. All right, until then, we'll check in on Twitter tonight maybe for a few minutes under hashtag YTMM. All right, bye guys.